This is Cashing Out on VSiN, the sports betting network.
All right, welcome into Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo. What a night it's been. NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs. You know, we were talking about the Monday MLB slate on yesterday's edition of The Big Show and said it wasn't the heaviest slate, only 8 games out of a potential 15, but they were all intriguing games, and intriguing they were. Some great games. A big comeback in A-Town for the Braves. My Mets taking care of business against the Phillies. I miss when they used to play taking care of business after a win. Now it's back in the New York groove. Been that for quite some time. But taking care of business is what they did with Aaron Nola. Frankie Lindor. How about Francisco Lindor? 2 home runs in the win for the Mets. Things got a little dicey late. Took a 5-0 lead into the 9th. Was worried they weren't going to, had them to not bat bottom 9, plus 120. Did that instead of Mets money line minus 115. A little bit of a risk there, but obviously better price. No risk it, no biscuit. And up 5-0, they allowed a 4 spot, top of the 9th, but ultimately got there, didn't bat bottom of the 9th. We cashed that ticket out, among other tickets, like the LA Clippers, minus 1 in Denver. What a game 2. What a treat we got between the Clippers and the Nuggets in Denver for that game 2. Kawhi Leonard, vintage Kawhi Leonard. How you doing? I mean, the guy didn't play the 2024 portion of the regular season. Came back in 2025. Did not always look like himself, but, I mean, to end the regular season, last 14 games he played, Clippers were 13-1. Well, make it 14-2, last 16. This one was all Kawhi. 105-102. Clippers winning cover, whether you got them laying 1 or laying 1.5. And Kawhi was single-handedly the most impactful player on the court. 39 points, turning defense into offense, as we've seen Kawhi do so many times. 15 of 19 from the floor, as efficient as you could dream up. Better than 75% shooting. He was sensational. Perfect at the line. Great from beyond the arc. Kawhi Leonard did everything. Sealed the deal with a mid-range J. Inside of about 20 seconds left, Christian Braun attempted a 3. Banged it off the left side of the glass. Jokic got the offensive board, as the Nuggets did so many times in this one. And off balance, spin around ballerina 3, same spot as Braun. Left side of the glass, no iron on Denver's last 2 attempts before the buzzer. But man, they did destroy the Clippers on the glass. How about going plus 18 on the glass, plus 8 on the offensive boards? That worried me. That really worried me in this game as a Clippers ticket holder. Getting decimated on the boards like that. Denver earning 10 more trips to the line than the Clippers, but only converting 4 more times than LA. 14 of 22 were the Nuggets. Clippers 10 of 12 at the line. LA shot 48% from the floor. Denver almost matched them, 47%, and better from 3, 44%. Although that was about 48% before they missed their last couple. Just a great, evenly matched game. You can argue in a lot of facets of it that the Denver Nuggets outplayed the Clippers, but they didn't have Kawhi Leonard. Jokic, nothing to scoff at. Death taxes and Nikola Jokic triple-doubles, right? Even when he's not on pace for one, he finishes with one. 26 points, 10 assists, 12 boards after a relatively quiet first half for the big man out of Serbia. Porter Jr. gave him 15 and 15. Aaron Gordon, 14 and 6. Jamal Murray, 23 points, 6 dimes. Christian Braun, with his 5 points, the only Nugget starter not in double figures, but Russ Westbrook added on 14 off the bench. They had 5 guys, not just in double figures, but they had 5 guys with 14 or more points. Problem is, outside of those 5 guys, Braun, Peyton Watson, and Jalen Pickett combined for just 10 more. So, didn't really get a lot of depth. Whereas, I mean, the Clippers didn't really either. And the Clippers had just, 14 bench points? It was the Kawhi show. It was all Kawhi. 39, 5 assists, couple of steals. Zubats, 16 and 12. 5 fouls, 2 in 40 minutes. He was really out there a lot. Played more minutes than James Harden. Harden, 39 minutes, 7 dimes, 18 points. Did nothing in the fourth quarter. Went into the fourth with 18 and 7. Finished with 18 and 7. Norm Powell added 13, including a big 3 to actually, I guess that's the game-winning shot. Put the Clippers up 103-100, and then they win it 105-102. So Powell with a really important three there at the end. And the rest is history. Clippers taking it back to L.A., where they're going to be 5-point favorites. I did not think they were favorites on the road in game 2. I didn't think with how evenly matched this series was, anyone would be as big of as a 5-point favorite. I figured we'd be looking at, home team minus 1 to 3 every game. And on the money line, the Clippers laying $2 at DraftKings, that seems off to me. I don't know. I think the Clippers are going to win the series. I can't get behind laying 5 or certainly laying $2. The Clippers, I think, will win the game, but the Nuggets are the better bet, catching 50 cents. To me, if you're on the LA side of things going into game 3, the only way you can possibly bet it is live. I don't want to lay 5 pre-flop. The Nuggets are going to inevitably have a lead somewhere in the second or third quarter. Inevitably. It's been such an evenly matched back and forth series that you're going to be able to get the Clippers -2, worst case scenario, -2 some point live. You might be able to get them plus money at some point live. Why anyone would lay 5 with them, I cannot advise to do. As much as I love this team and I have them winning the series plus $1.35 from where that opened, I think they ended up favorites. The 5 seed, the road team, first 2 games, I believe they ended up favorites in the series. I can't advise laying 5 with them pre-flop. If I'm wrong, if they go wire to wire and just decimate Denver for 48 minutes, I'm wrong. But I'm not going to lose money on it. May not make money keeping my hands in my pockets pre-flop. But this is going to be play it live or don't play it at all for me as a Clippers backer. I will probably play the Knicks pre-flop game 3. How about the Knicks? Losing at home game 2. Look, I don't really have a lot of great things to say about the Knicks right now, but I have to imagine enough key players are going to be pissed off going into game 3 that when you're giving me a pick 'em, they're going to win the game. If I had to lay points with the Knicks on the road, I would not be doing it. If the Knicks were 4 or 5-point favorites, I would not be laying it. But in a pick 'em at Detroit game 3, coming off an embarrassing home loss, and I say embarrassing when you score 94 points. When you let the road team, especially a team as young and inexperienced in the postseason as the Detroit Pistons, when you let them dictate pace of play on your home court, that's embarrassing. When Karl Anthony Towns has 10 points, that's embarrassing. No one showed up outside of Jalen Brunson offensively. Brunson had 37. The rest of this team, Bridges had 19. No one else had more than 10. Not a good game for the Knicks. Take it in stride. Look, I thought this was going to be a battle. We've had numerous guests come on the program and take the Pistons at better than 3-1 to win the series. I didn't go that far. I said I think the Knicks win the series. I also said that I think it goes over 5.5 games. And we pointed that out the final night of the NBA regular season. It was minus 15 cents either way, each way rather, over under 5.5 games. Said we like the over. It was quickly minus 30 cents to the over. So I think the Knicks will get game 3. I really believe that this thing could be 2-2 going back to MSG for game 5. I could see the Knicks coming back taking game 3, the Pistons settling in taking game 4. For the Knicks to have 2 separate quarters where they scored just 18 points, the first and the third on their home court, is an absolute abomination and a disgrace. It's inexcusable. Cade Cunningham putting up 33 on you. Inexcusable. It was just a bad game, an embarrassing game for the Knicks. I have to imagine, look, these guys, they're vets. They've been there. They know how to win in the playoffs from last year, even though it was disappointing, go up 2-0 against Indiana. They were decimated with injuries. If that team was healthy, they beat the Pacers. Make no mistake about it. Brunson, what did he, break his leg the final game? Broke something the final game, game 7. That team was decimated. But these guys know how to win in the playoffs. I think they'll respond to the loss well. I think they'll go to Detroit, take game 3. And in a pick 'em, I'm comfortable betting that. Like I said, I wouldn't lay 4 or 5 points, but in a pick 'em, I'll take the Knicks game 3 at Detroit. How about Tuesday's NBA action? We'll dive into that momentarily. But first, folks, you want to bet smarter, not louder? If so, check out the Sharp Plays at sharpplays.com, where real bettors go to get ahead. Most of the betting world is just flat out noise. Chasing steam, copying picks, recycling the same old value plays. They're not sharp, they're just parrots. The sharp plays is the source they're echoing. Since 2011, it's been locked in with what the real pros are betting. Elite groups, sharp money, the kind that actually move the market. When the sharp plays jumps on a side, the line reacts every time. With inside info and powerful AI tools, you're not guessing, you're getting ahead. Sign up for free betting reports, real-time alerts, and next-level intel via email or Twitter. And don't take anyone's word for it. Check the receipts. Full betting logs are live on the site. So why follow the crowd when you could lead it? Go to sharpplays.com. Respected, watched, and feared. That's the Sharp Plays. Tuesday night, NBA action. Lakers laying 5.5 against the Wolves. OKC laying 14 and a hook to Memphis. And the Pacers laying 4 to Milwaukee. Look, no official word yet, but it looks like Dame Dollar might be out there for the Milwaukee Bucks. And you have to imagine if the Bucks are comfortable running him out there, that they were going to be running him out there at 100%. And if that's the case, I might throw the 4 points out the window and take a little look at the Milwaukee Bucks money line, plus $1.60. You got a pissed off Giannis in a bounce back spot. You got a potential return game for Dame Lillard after Milwaukee got embarrassed, wiped and waxed in game 1. I think the Bucks are too proud. A lot of guys on this team know what it's like to win a championship, to go back home with their tails between their legs down 2-0 in this series. I'm looking at the Bucks. Forget the points. Money line, plus 160. That might be the play against Indiana. Baseball up next. It's Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo.
Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, getting you through the late hours of your Monday night into your Tuesday morning here on the program. And with a locked and loaded MLB slate, all 30 teams in action on Tuesday, no one better to bring into the show, break it all down with, than our friend MLB expert here at VSiN, Greg Peterson, joining us now on the Progressive Guest Line. And Greg, before we dive into these games, I've got a little bone to pick with you, because yesterday I followed you up here in the studio, and I'm doing the opening monologue talking Rockets Warriors as that game was going on, and I find myself like sweating bullets. And I looked over at that thermostat, and it started with a 7. Greg, don't you know that thing should never be higher than 65? I mean, what do you keep it at here? A freaking sauna?
Hey, I am someone that likes it warm. We want to stay hot with our picks, so we keep it warm in the studio so that way we stay hot. I think that it's very, very logical.
Look, you can appreciate this as much as me. When you're doing a show solo, it is a performance, man. I mean, it's not, sitting back, kicking our feet up with a co-host to banter with, right? Like, you're performing, man. I was 10 minutes in, and I'm like, geez, I'm having hot flashes in here. My goodness. But Greg was not here today, so it is at an appropriate 67 degrees right now. My man, let's get into this MLB slate. Yankees, Guardians. Cleveland takes game 1 on Monday. Tanner Bybee opposite Will Warren. And this is more of a fade of one guy than an endorsement of the other. What's your play here?
Yeah, with Tanner Bybee, it's not been great for him to start out the season, but I just still don't understand why Will Warren is at the MLB level at this point. He wasn't good at the AAA level last year. He has made 10 career pitching appearances at the MLB level. He's given up at least 3 runs at least 6 of them, rocking a 5.12 ERA. If you look at the fielding independent, it's a little bit better because he gets strikeouts, but north of 4.5 walks per 9 innings throughout his career. He gives up a lot of hard contact. And with Cleveland Guardians, the top half of the lineup is pretty solid. The bottom half leaves a whole lot to be desired, but Stephen Kwan has been doing a good job in the leadoff spot. You've been able to get some good power out of a few guys like Jose Ramirez has been able to do a solid job. Kyle Manzardo has been able to step up. And with the Guardians, sans Emmanuel Clase, who's been really bad this far this season, still a rock solid bullpen. So being able to get this at a relatively pick-em price, you're starting to see this tick up to like a -110, -115. Do you like the Guardians and the over in this spot?
Would you look in the prop market, Greg, at Will Warren over 2.5 walks? It's juiced 10 cents each way. He has only gone over this once, had 4 walks his first time out. Since then, 2 walks back-to-back starts. Would you go over 2.5 against this Guardians lineup that's pretty good at getting on base?
I probably wouldn't, just because the Cleveland Guardians are a really good team at not striking out, but that means that they swing at a few more pitches as well. So I would rather just stick with fading them. If you want to take like a first 5 on like the Cleveland Guardians over their runs, or just like Will Warren over his runs, I would look at that before the walks.
I love it. Let's stay with the New York team. My Mets, 10-1 at home to start the year. They've been absolutely insane. Just beat the Phils 5-4. You know, you're Mr. Fade Aaron Nola. I see it on your Twitter all the time. You couldn't be more right. 0-5 to start the year. Christopher Sanchez going for the Phils, opposite Griffin Canning, a guy who had pretty low expectations but has performed well with Jeremy Hefner, the Mets pitching coach, seemingly taking all these guys, Severino, Canning, and turning them from nothing into something when they get to Queens. What's your read on this game, Mets-Phillies?
Being able to get plus money on the Mets, which I'm seeing that at a lot of places, I'm going to take a shot because Christopher Sanchez has some very big home and road splits.
Yep.
You look since the beginning of the 2024 season, his ERA at home right around about a 2.39, gives up only about 0.7 home runs per 9 innings. That nearly doubles on the road. A north of 4.7 ERA away from him. And the Mets, they should be beginning to hit a little bit more. Juan Soto was mere inches away from his first home run out there in Citi Field. The conditions were really bad in the first series or two at home. That's why you've got such a high under rate for the Mets. But these guys like Juan Soto and being able to get a little bit more of Francisco Lindor has heated up the last few games. You're going to be able to get a bit more offensively. And under the radar, you talk about the starting pitching and Griffin Canning and company. How about the Mets bullpen? It's actually been really good this year. They're a top 5 team in terms of bullpen ERA. I don't have that much confidence in the Phillies, especially after I had the run line on them on Saturday. They were up 7 runs going into the 9th inning, and they did not cover the run line. So, yeah, needless to say, I'm a little bit out on the Phillies bullpen right now, but that's Griffin Canning looking like he's getting back to the guy that he was pre-major surgery. Last year was a little bit down. It looks like, to your point, the pitching staff of the New York Mets just all around doing better with all the good coaching that they got over there. I'm all trusting the bets on the money line, and I do like that over.
By the way, while we're talking about you loving to fade Aaron Nola, myself included there, I just want the record to show that in Monday morning's edition of the VSiN Daily Morning Bets, when I picked the Mets to not bat bottom 9, I mentioned some home run prop possibilities. I mentioned a sprinkle on Jesse Winker, and he went deep off of Aaron Nola, 3rd time in his career. I don't even know what the odds were at on that. Had to be at least 8, 9, 10-1 for a guy who's not even in the lineup every night. But yeah, the Mets absolutely took it to Nola, and maybe they'll take it to Sanchez. To your point, last year, an ERA north of 5 on the road. Speaking of ERA, how about the league leader, Chris Bassett, 0.77, opposite Renaud Blanco, who's having a very different April than he did in April of 2024 to start last season. What's your read on this Jays-Astros game, a near pick'em?
Yep, and right now we're starting to see some places tick down to an 8. Once you get down to an 8, that would be my buy point on the over. Just because with Chris Bassett, I do think that there's a little bit of regression coming, but he has been really good to start the season. I have to give some credit where it is due, because ever since he got to Toronto, it's been a little bit hit or miss with them. Now, if I'm looking at anything in terms of a plus money sprinkle here, you're able to get this run line of the Houston Astros at anywhere between a plus 180 to a plus 185. I think at some point these bats are going to get going. This is too good of an offensive team to be held down the way that they have towards the beginning part of the season. For the Astros, you've had Jose Altuve do a solid job, and Isaac Paredes, I thought, was a solid addition. He's been able to belt out a few homers for this team, but I look at someone like a Christian Walker being able to get going, Yordan Alvarez as well. So I do think that with the Houston Astros, being able to get that plus money on the run line, that is a relatively solid look, because you're able to get, like I said, a plus 180, plus 185. And with the Toronto Blue Jays, the bullpen has been relatively solid this year. Like so Jeff Hoffman, Yumi Garcia have come through, but I still have some trust issues with them, and they still have a few guys like Eric Swanson on the injured list, so the bullpen doesn't have as much depth as they're used to.
Greg, Chris Bassett's not the only former Met in action on Tuesday with an ERA that starts with 0.7. Jose Quintana, 2-0 through 2 starts, a 0.71 ERA. He's been fabulous for the Brewers. They're at San Francisco. Jordan Hicks on the bump for the Giants. You can get Milwaukee as high as plus $1.20. Does that intrigue you in this battle up by the Bay?
It does intrigue me, but if you look under the hood at Jose Quintana, this is not sustainable. This is not sustainable at all. He's getting 4.2 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's pitching to a lot of contact. The balls are just finding gloves at this point. His fielding independence is more than 3 points higher than his ERA. That speaks to me in this sort of circumstance. And I think that you'd agree as a Mets fan, because he was pitching for the Mets last year, felt like Jose Quintana got a little bit lucky last year as well. Guy that pitches to a lot of contact. He was giving up about 3 walks per 9 innings last year with the Mets. And this is a San Francisco Giants team that they can hit. Even though it's a pitcher-friendly ballpark out there in San Francisco, Jong-Ho Lee has been a tremendous addition. Got hurt last year after he was coming over from KBO. Mike Yastrzemski is doing a good job of moving the line. They haven't even gotten a lot out of Willie Thomas quite yet. And for the Brewers, this is just a very streaky team, to say the least. They'll give you like 3 really good performances. They'll give you like 2 really bad performances, and then they'll give you 3 more good ones. You just don't know what you're going to get out of those guys. And for the Brewers, the bullpen has been much worse this year than it was last year. A bottom 6 team in the big leagues with regards to bullpen ERA entering into the series. So I do like this spot for the Giants. Jordan Hicks has been a little bit shaky himself, so seeing that total at 7.5, I also like the over.
Greg, how about the Dodgers and Cubbies going at it again? I mean, what is this already? The 3rd series between these teams this year? Tokyo, LA, now it's in Wrigley. Dustin May, Shota Imanaga. Is the play the under? What do you like here in this one?
Right now, seeing that total at an 8.5, I would be looking a little bit more at the over. We'll see how that matriculates overnight, just because there's a lot of books that they don't have a total up because it's based on the Wrigley Field wind. And the way that I look at it is it's a little bit more friendly to hitters, but it's not like demonstrative. You're going to have like 4 5-mile-per-hour winds, so it's nothing too big either way. But I do like Shota Imanaga in this spot. Getting him as a home underdog against Dustin May, who's just had so many injuries that's robbed him of that swing and miss stuff. He's only getting about 7.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. The ERA is relatively low, but at the same time, he's not necessarily doing the world's greatest job in terms of command. And this Cubs team, they have been ripping the cover off the ball. How about number 1 in all of baseball in terms of overall runs per game? The way that Pete Crow Armstrong, Miguel Amaya have been able to step up at the bottom of the fold has really been impressing me. So I look at the Cubs getting plus money here, and I like that money line.
Greg, as always, my man, fantastic stuff. Really appreciate you hopping on the show. Thanks so much for your time and for breaking down Tuesday's MLB action with us.
Always appreciate you, Joe. Thank you.
Make sure you follow him on Twitter at @GUnit_81. Greg Peterson, VSiN's resident college hoops and MLB expert. I'll tell you one other game I'm looking at. Arizona playing host to Tampa Bay. The Rays have hardly been on the road this season. This will be just their 4th road game of the year. You know I'm going to have more to say about that one to come. But folks, the NFL Draft is one of the few betting events where research beats reputation, and VSiN Pro can help you cash in. Right now, get full VSiN Pro access through August 1st, just $59. That's a full summer of sharp betting insights at half the regular price. That means daily best bets, real-time betting splits, 24/7 video access, and more. So sign up now, VSiN.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through the late hours of your Monday night into your Tuesday morning here on the program. And the NBA playoffs are in full swing. Who better to break it down with than our friend, NBA analyst over at fantasyguru.com. You can also catch him on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. Justin Fensterman joining us now over on the Progressive Guest Line. Fensty, how are you, my friend? It's great to have you back on.
Joe, it's great being with you. Fun time, man. Playoffs and all these sports. What's better than postseason action?
Absolutely nothing. Let's start at the Mecca, my man. Let's start with the Knicks. Game 2, disappointing loss against Detroit. And you look at this series as a whole through the first 2 games, it's knotted up at 1 win apiece. You can argue that the Pistons have outplayed the Knicks 7 out of 8 quarters. It's not looking great. Maybe you can go 6 out of 8, but it's not looking great for the Knicks right now. And defensively, I thought they did everything they needed to do game 2, holding Detroit to 100 points. Detroit shot terribly from beyond the arc. But offensively, no one showed up that wasn't named Jalen Brunson. What's your feel on this Knicks team in this series moving forward?
I mean, look, ultimately at the end of the day, Joe, yes, it's been disappointing. They've looked sluggish. It's weird to think that after them turning up the pace in the fourth quarter with helping with that 21-0 run in game 1, you would think that they would start with that intensity, but they keep, to me, playing at Detroit's speed. They're feeling them out too much. They need to utilize their speed and force the attack at the rim. Now, Detroit's defense is good. That's why they're where they're at. That's why they avoided the play-in tournament. But the Knicks got to hit threes, and they're not getting the open threes. So instead of just trying to hit threes and set everybody up at the arc and even Bridges off of multiple screens, why don't you just force the attack? Jalen Duren is going to draw, or rather, he's going to commit a ton of contact anyway. We saw Sar Thompson do the same thing. Force the drive from the get-go, and if the Knicks do that game 3, which I'm anticipating, it'll get them off to a better start because they've just gotten off to horribly slow starts, and even tonight they looked a lot like you said, Joe, the first 3 quarters of last game.
Does it surprise you that Game 3, Thursday, April 24th, has come out as a pick'em? And which side are you on? I know it's early, but looking ahead to it, which side would you be inclined to take if you had to make a bet right now?
I'm honestly not surprised because Detroit's defense has been able to hold down the Knicks, and the Knicks haven't really shown much life. So in a slow-paced environment, I'm not surprised that it's a pick 'em at this point. And Detroit's defense is very, very good. They've been good all year, and they're showing it right now that they can keep the Knicks from driving. But I'm thinking if I'm going to side with one of the two teams here, I'm thinking, like I said before, the Knicks are going to come out and they're going to try to attack the rim and they're going to force the attack relentlessly, because what that's going to do is that's going to draw Detroit back to the interior where they're very comfortable, which is great. But then the better shots from beyond the arc will start to happen if the Knicks are able to successfully attack Detroit. But they have to commit to that a little bit, Joe. They haven't done that too much, and they got to change it up. Throw a left when they're expecting a right, because nothing they've done has worked out.
Yeah, nothing that Karl Anthony Towns did in Game 2 worked out. He had a terrible game. He might be a guy worth targeting Game 3 because I can't see him playing that poorly back-to-back contests. Let's get to some of Tuesday's action, my man. Starting with the Bucks and the Pacers. Obviously, we don't have any inside information right now. What's your gut telling you about this Dame Lillard situation, and what kind of impact does that have on your pick here?
I'm starting to think that he's going to play, and I don't think there's going to be any minutes limitation. I know we have to be careful with blood clots, but if they didn't feel they had it under full 100% control, because this all goes beyond basketball. This is Damian Lillard's life. It's Victor Wembanyama's life. It was Chris Bosh's life. That comes first before the game of basketball. So I don't think there's going to be any kind of limitation. I think Damian Lillard is going to come back. Or if he doesn't come back when that first game is that he's back, he's still going to be playing 30 minutes. And this is going to be a very fast-paced game. And I'll tell you this much, too. When it comes down to the bad defense that Milwaukee plays in the backcourt, Damian Lillard being there does them no favors defensively. So that's where I start to look at Tyrese Halliburton a little bit more, and him getting involved a little bit more on the assist front, maybe even on the rebounding front. We could sneak in on a backdoor low rebound prop on him, because for the last 2 years, the Bucks guards have given up a lot on the glass to backcourts.
They absolutely have. And speaking of bad defenses, the Memphis Grizzlies catching 14.5 at Oklahoma City, fresh off a 51-point loss. Desmond Bane, who I love, sets the playoff record for worst plus-minus differential, minus 51 himself, as the team lost by 51. I mean, is this number, would it be an overreaction to lay it with Oklahoma City? What are you inclined to do here, both with the side and then, of course, the prop market in this game?
So going into game 1, because of the very healthy game environment, because both these teams play fast as hell, still taking the double-digit spread into account from last game, I decided to alt the hell down a lot of these players' rebound props and parlay them together. And that didn't work because I didn't anticipate these guys playing 21 minutes, some of them, and 27 minutes for Morant and Desmond Bane after that huge blowout. Here's the problem. There are too many open shots. That's what Memphis gave up. And you saw Hartenstein be able to get to every single spot, and he would get the same open hook every time. I think I saw, if not 3 straight 4 and 5 plays where they did the exact same thing, and Memphis did nothing to adjust to it. And I think part of it is lack of experience. I think part of it is that Zach Edey can't cover two huge guys, one of them that's shooting from mid and long range, and the other one that's trying to attack the basket and call for the ball in the low post. And I just think that Memphis is completely outmatched, because the reason why Oklahoma City is as dangerous as they are, a 68-win team, they have a tremendous amount of endless depth, and that's going to beat Memphis. And I thought maybe Memphis would be able to keep it within 20 for 3.5 quarters. But this was barely even a game, and it's hard to think that they have enough to adjust.
Yeah, this one was over before it started. Now, look, Oklahoma City, I mean, anytime you can win a playoff game, and I don't care if it's against an 8 seed in the first round, anytime you can win a playoff game and have the guy who's going to be the league MVP play just 23 minutes, you are a well-oiled machine. You've got some thoughts, though, on a potential threat to them in the Western Conference. Who is it? Who are you looking at?
The one team at this point that I think is a threat to Oklahoma City is Golden State. And I don't even know if they could do it. I just think that they could push the Thunder as far as they can go, maybe even go the distance with them all 7 games. And that's because we've seen what Jimmy Butler, when he's all in, what he brings to a team. We saw it when he first joined Miami, transforming them and bringing them to the next level. He joins Golden State, and they look like a completely different team. They don't have the size that I feel you need to be able to compare to Oklahoma City, but they've still been able to be dominant with their size. Jimmy Butler being there has allowed Draymond Green to take on less coverage of the court and focus more on his matchups, and that's helped close down the lane. And having Jimmy Butler there and all of that experience convinces me that maybe the Golden State Warriors have enough experience and they don't even need any more shooting depth that they have to be able to take on Oklahoma City and give them a series. Because to me, even the Lakers, it's hard for me to really buy into any other team beating Oklahoma City with all that depth they possess.
Let's touch on those Lakers. You bring them up. They got embarrassed. 22-point loss, game 1 on their home court. Now they're laying 5.5, slightly longer favorites in game 2 than they were game 1. I'm imagining that there's a revenge factor being baked into that number. Do you think they cover that number? What are your thoughts game 2, Wolves-Lakers?
Yeah, I think that we'll see a little bit of a more aggressive Lakers team. Now, I'm starting to wonder if the Timberwolves are going to win once again, but I'm seeing a lot of people put some money, of course, on the Lakers being able to win the West or being able to at least go a couple of rounds. Can they go a couple of rounds? Maybe they can, but the problem with the Lakers is I don't think they have that depth. It's great when you have Luka Doncic and LeBron James. That's excellent. But let's not forget, Joe, this team was also supposed to have Mark Williams as part of that overall strategy, as someone to be able to help these guys out and clean up the glass. They don't have that guy right now. And think about it. Going into a series, I was just talking about what Isaiah Hartenstein did to Zach Edey, a big guy creating his own space. The Lakers don't have anyone that can physically cover these guys. It's going to be way too much for LeBron James. So that's why, for me, when I'm seeing people be like, oh, maybe the Lakers can go to the NBA Finals, LeBron, Luka, that's great, LeBron, Luka, but this isn't NBA Jam. You need more than just 2 or 3 guys to be committed, to be consistent, and be game changers in order to beat the team like the Thunder with all that depth. And I don't think the Lakers have it.
Justin, I love it. As always, my man, fantastic stuff. Really appreciate the time. Thanks so much for hopping on.
Joe, it's been great being on with you again, man. Thank you.
Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Fensterman Sports. Check him out, NBA Analyst over at fantasyguru.com, and as well on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, our friend Justin Fensterman. I'll tell you what, brought up a great point about the Warriors potentially posing more of a threat to Oklahoma City than the Lakers. But, and this is where matchups matter and things could get interesting, I'm curious to see how the Warriors, should they get past Houston, a lot of series left, how they would match up if the Lakers get past Minnesota with LA. Because the Warriors do lack some size. And while the Lakers lack size as well, and I know, he brought up that great point about Mark Williams, I'd be curious if Draymond and Jimmy are able to stop LeBron and Luka. Because Golden State might be a better matchup for OKC, but they might not be able to get past the Lakers. This Western Conference is going to be a blast. More Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo up next.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, getting you ready for your Tuesday here on The Big Show. Going to have some best bets for Tuesday coming up. We've got a jam-packed day, 3 NBA playoff games, 4 Stanley Cup playoff games over on the ice, and a full slate, 15 games on the diamond. We're going to get to it all. Not loving anything just yet at this early juncture when it comes to the NBA. But touched on this one earlier. We'll get to it again here shortly. Milwaukee, I would be more inclined to go money line than the points. Obviously, a lot of this has to do with Dame Lillard. So let's dive in. It's time for the VSiN Daily Morning Bets. Looking at this NBA slate, no best bets on it for me. The Memphis-Oklahoma City game scares me because like we saw in game 1, if the Thunder destroy the Grizzlies and blow them out, you're getting your MVP and SGA playing under 50% of the game's minutes, right? Now, I don't think that's going to be a normal occurrence, a 51-point blowout victory. But even if the Thunder are up 20-25 going into the fourth quarter, how is that going to impact minutes for guys like SGA, for guys like Chet, for Lou Dort or Jalen with an E? What's that going to do to their minutes? And that would be what scares me away from the prop market on the OKC side of things in this one. Honestly, if I'm inclined to go anywhere in that game, my strongest lean, and I'm probably not going to get to the counter on it, would be to go back to laying the 14.5. I feel like people are going to be inclined to go, all right, the Grizzlies just got embarrassed. They're going to come out and try to prove something, plus 14.5 with Memphis. The Grizzlies have consistently had about the worst defense in the league since the All-Star break. That's 2 straight months of atrocious defense. Again, no official play. Lean, though, would be lay it with Oklahoma City. I'm also leaning heavily towards the money line with Milwaukee. Now, no official word on Dame Lillard yet. Based on this line movement, I think we're going to see Dame time in game 2. And if Dame's back, I believe that means he's 100%. I think you got a pissed off Giannis. You got a Bucks team that knows what it's like to be on the top of the world. This team was world champs not too long ago. And since then, they've turned in a couple of very disappointing postseason performances. They don't want to go back to Milwaukee with their tails between their legs, down 0-2. I see Milwaukee winning this game outright. So if they cover that number, I think they're going to win the game outright. So I'm leaning towards Bucks plus $1.60. I might sacrifice a slightly shorter price to have the knowledge and confirmation that Dame is going in this one, but I would certainly, again, like the Thunder play, this is a stronger lean. This is my strongest lean in the NBA. This is one that I could very well see myself getting to the counter on. Make sure you follow me at the Joe Ceraulo on Twitter. I'll let you guys know closer to game time if it's a play or not. But I'm looking at Bucks money line plus 160 in this one. All right, I do have 3 best bets that are locked, loaded, and ready to go. They're all on the diamond. Let's get to those now. We're starting with Jack Flaherty. Over 16.5 outs against San Diego. Now, normally his number's coming in at 17.5. It's an out lower, 16.5. So we need 5 2/3 out of Flaherty. We saw Keider Montero get chased after 4 1/3. Otherwise known as 13 outs. Game 1, Montero's not a mainstay in this Tigers rotation. He got called up to make a spot start, hung around an extra week. He's a swing guy. We saw him last year as Detroit made their playoff push. Bullpen, rotation, 9th inning at times. Montero's not a guy you should be comparing to in this spot. What does stand out to me, though, the Padres are very inconsistent on the road. 16-7 on the year, tied with the Dodgers and my Mets' best record in baseball. Just 4-6 on the road, though. 12-1 outstanding at Petco. You got Luis Arias out of the lineup after that scary collision with Dubon at first base. Sunday Night Baseball against Houston. This is a lineup that, no Jackson Merrill. They're really beat up. And outside of Fernando Tatis, he really raises the entirety of San Diego's hitters' numbers against Flaherty. He is 7 for 10 against Flaherty with a slugging percentage of 1,700, 4 doubles, 2 homers, that's 6 extra base hits, and OPS, video game stuff, right? 2,400 is OPS. Outside of Tatis, the rest of the current Padre hitters are combined. He's 7 for 10. They're 7 for 37 against Flaherty. So Tatis, the only guy who scares me here. Luckily, he's at the top of the lineup, not exactly in a major RBI position. And that lineup after 1, 2, 3, after Tatis, Sheets, and Machado, it really falls off. Machado, by the way, is 2 for 14 against Flaherty with 5 strikeouts. You look at Flaherty's numbers this year, he's been great. He just had his first, start of the season. But he's gone over this 16.5 out mark twice. Both 5 2/3, ironically. Has not gone 6 innings yet. I think this could be a spot against the Padres, who are depleted, who are banged up, who are injured, and who are on the road. I think this could be the spot to clear this mark and go 6. Remember, I'm not betting over 16.5 outs at -110 because I think he's just going to go 5 2/3. I think he's going to go 6 strong. I've got confidence in Flaherty. He's been a K machine in the month of April. 20 Ks, 15 2/3 innings. I don't want to play Ks, though. San Diego doesn't strike out a lot. I will go over 16.5 outs. Sticking, even though we're fading the Padres in this one, sticking with another team that is over in the National League West. Actually, all these games have teams involved who are in the NL West. We're going to go Arizona to not bat bottom of the ninth. They're laying about 65 cents on the money line against Tampa Bay. However, Arizona to not bat bottom 9, you can get -115 at DraftKings. That's the play. Zach Littell going for Tampa. This is a Tampa Bay team that is 0-3 on the road. What's more surprising to me than they're winless on the road is that they've only played 3 road games the entire first 3+ weeks of the season. That's wild to me. Now they're going to Arizona against a really good lineup in a really tough place to pitch. And Littell's been interesting. He's had 2 great starts where he went 6 and allowed 1 earned. They've lost both of those starts by a combined score of 3-1, 2-1 to the Rockies, 1-0 to the Red Sox. And he's also had 2 starts where he got shelled. 4 innings, 7 earned against the Angels. His 1 road start went 7 innings but allowed 5 earned at Texas. I think this is going to look like that road start at Texas. Now, he started off strong and he finished poorly there. I don't think he'll go 7, but I do think 5 earned runs might be on the table. In the month of April, 17 innings, 13 earned. It's an ERA up near 7. So, like I said, 2 really, really bad starts, 2 really, really good starts. But Brandon Pfaadt has turned it on the other side for Arizona lately. He's been great. He has 2 quality starts on the year. His last time out, 1 earned, but he only went 5 2/3. Missed a quality start by 1 out. In the month of April, he is 3-0 with a 2.55 ERA. Got his Ks up last time out, 6 of them in 5 2/3 against the Marlins on the road. I really like the way Pfaadt's been dealing lately. I think he's going to be a key component of this D-back staff down the stretch this season, and I think he goes out there, shuts down this Tampa lineup, and Arizona wins it without having to bat in the bottom of the ninth, -115. That's my best bet. Brought to you by G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. Folks, G-Bank is up in the ante with up to a $750 bonus for new G-Bank Visa Signature Card customers. First, new customers who spend $1,000 on eligible purchases within 90 days from the account opening receive a $250 bonus. Additionally, if you spend $50,000 on gaming and sports app loads within the 30 days of your account opening, you'll receive another $500 bonus. That's potentially a $750 bonus. Apply now. VSiN.com/GBank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions, of course, apply. All right, one more best bet for you. We're going to go with a plus money play in the late game. Give me the Brew Crew. Plus $1.20 on the money line at San Francisco. Jose Quintana, say what you want, not sustainable. It's a small sample size. Those are all true. He's not going to have a .71 ERA throughout the entire year. But guess what? He does through 2 starts. And I'm not worried about the contact he's pitching to. He has never been a high strikeout pitcher. And we've seen Quintana pitch really well and maintain low ERAs while not striking out the world. I mean, when's the last time this guy had a double-digit Ks per 9? You got to go back to 2021. In fact, it hasn't exceeded 8, let alone 10, since it was over 11 in 2021 between the Angels and the Giants, and that was mainly as a reliever, so that doesn't even count. That was 29 appearances, 10 starts. But he's turned in ERAs of, high high 2s, low 3s, all while pitching into contact. So I'm not worried. He's looked great in his 2 starts this season. He's looked great going back to June of 2024. Jordan Hicks has not looked great. He's allowed 15 earned runs in 16 and a third innings in the month of April. Give me the Brew Crew in a bounce back spot, money line, plus $1.20 at San Francisco. And that'll do it for the VSiN Daily Morning Bets. That'll also do it for another terrific edition of Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo. Couldn't do it without the rest of our fantastic team. Sensational producer Adam Bernard, Corey, Jarens, Alexis, Chris, the rest of our squad here at the VSiN Studios in the Circa Las Vegas Resort and Casino. They make this thing happen. Up next, VSiN by the books. Dave Ross, Jensen Lewis, 7 a.m. Eastern. You don't want to miss it. That's it for Cashing Out with me, Joe Ceraulo. Let's do it again, Damani.